Primary trigger check.
Toms are in safe mode. You got a primary coming your way in 3, 2, 1.
Primary trigger was good. We're queuing up for a secondary.
This is the last minute. This is to make sure everything we've done previously is correct. This is our last second to get it right, because after this, there's no going back.
The moments before a crash test, there's a lot of tension and there's a lot of nervousness to make sure that we got it right. Because once you crash a vehicle, it's done.
You said earlier something wasn't registering correctly. What was going on there?
Software issue. Had to reboot the computer.
Is that typical?
No. We've got one chance to run it, so we make sure everything's right. There's 3 checks done on the check sheet before we run the test. And then we do it quite often, so we feel pretty confident that we're going to get it perfect.
Our team really understands no matter if 2 channels on a dummy's ankle, that's true. There is channels in the feet, but if they're red, we're gonna call a timeout. We're gonna fix those before we move on. So is it nerve-wracking? Is there a lot of anxiety, or is it smooth? And really, it's all of the above.
Mitchell, if you're at a point to start the countdown.
We're just prepping the dummy.
We use the different colors. This gives the engineer to see impact in where the dummy is hitting on the airbags. It gives them a good location that the timing of the airbag is correct.
So we're going to get this AM50 ready for the crash test. We're going to be taking apart the spine box and getting into the lumbar to retorque cables. These are actually not the ones that have the least amount. The new Thor dummies have about 142 cables.
Our original dummies with Hybrid 3, the AM50, the FL5, these dummies really have been around since the late 60s and in use from the 70s and still to today. There's a new dummy called Thor. There's a male and a female. These dummies are about $1.5 million.
These are the Thor dummies. Umbilical dummies is what we call them, because each sensor has its own cable that comes with it. If you can tell, this umbilical is pretty heavy. It probably weighs 50 pounds. All the cabling running from the dummy, that has to be run through the vehicle and to where the data acquisition equipment is located.
And the big thing about it, the modern dummies, is the new ones are really more biofidelic, so much more true representing human injury. So as the new regulations come about, we'll phase out the original ones and bring in the Thors.
And cable management is very important, because if you don't have like strain relief in the right spots, the articulation of the dummy can actually pull wires out of the sensors, which essentially destroys the sensor. Depending on when that happens, if it's during a crash test, it could lose data as well. If we have a missed test, it's really bad. It could push deadlines, and it's really expensive.
Verify test check sheet is complete.
Test check sheet has been completed.
Mitchell, vehicle's live.
As you're a part of the team that is watching this happen, I am always amazed.
Okay, gentlemen, we're close to a go.
The noise, the percussion, you see this violent act.
Okay, we're gonna run it.
Ready when you are.
Stay clear to track, test in progress.
Everything becomes quiet. Everybody stops talking. You can hear the whir of the cable.
Seeing, hearing, smelling the violence of a crash test makes a big impression.
It's hard to explain. To see one of the high-speed tests in person and only maybe be, 10, 15 meters away is really dynamic.
I think crash is one of the most interesting parts of the vehicle development. I used to think that, well, there's no way you can predict what's happening in less than a blink of an eye. And it's always fascinated me that not only do we predict it, but we engineer for it, and then we confirm it with our high-speed cameras.
Yeah, we have a underbody overall and an underbody tight at the wheel into the barrier. That glass that you're looking through the Lexan is so you get a clear view of it. Our main focus is in the front area.
So when I explain it to people, or we're showing one of our crash videos in slow motion, The best way I can really explain it is if you consider normal television that we'd watch, this is typically filmed about 24 frames per second. When we're videoing in crash safety, it's typically 1,000 to 3,000 frames per second. It's a big deal, it's pretty high tech, it takes a lot of light to do it.
With our high-speed cameras, we go through millisecond by millisecond by millisecond, and you're looking for where is the dummy sitting? Where are the airbags? How much did the door bend in? All of these things, you're just trying to gain any bit of pre-knowledge before the detailed evaluations are completed.
So if you look at the video here, what we look at is once the airbag is deploying, we want to make sure the occupant contacts the airbag as close to center as possible. And the face is painted because post-test we want to see, if you see in the video, we have an imprint of the dummy head. So we want to make sure we capture that the whole dummy face is contacting the airbag.
For us here was an SOL test, otherwise known as small overlap. In this, we look at not only dummy injury criteria, but also have special measurements of intrusion or even door opening. This is run at 64.4 kilometers per hour, and it's only at 25% overlap of the vehicle. So it's kind of to mimic vehicle crossing left of the center lane and only capturing maybe a portion of your headlight.
And we look at how much deformation in certain areas, so you can see all the way through. There's no bend in the rail. For this test, we meet target with good margin.
When you see the dummies or the mannequins that they put in the vehicle, especially with the children, then it really touches home what they're trying to do when they put in that mannequin, because it could be your child, could be my child, and so it's really important that we do this right. And I can't express our appreciation enough to our team members for what they do, because we have letters and testimonials from our customers with pictures showing the accidents that they've been in and thanking Toyota for designing a great vehicle, because either they or their loved ones were able to walk away with minimal injuries.
And they're all, thank you for what you do. This was, even the police officer mentioned about this vehicle and that these people all, walked away safely. It's a really neat thing to get that, snippet from the real world is great. Really proud moment, I think, for engineering, our chief engineers, down to the, people working on the vehicles on the shop floor.
Of the first vehicles that we build, approximately 30 of them are dedicated to crash performance. Safety is a priority. It's part of what the customers expect from us and what we want to deliver.